Hello everybody, I'm Yoshi Star Hunter, and today I'm going to theorize about FNAF's system location. Now, I have a sort of theory in my mind, that's why I theory, you know what I mean. I have a theory that the people who created FNAF's system location, as in not Scott, but the people who actually created the animatronics and place, aren't, in fact, they're not Fazbear Entertainment. They are another company that bought out the rights from Fazbear Entertainment. Why? Well, I've got two things to support my theory, and a third thing to basically tie it all together. So first of all, I'm going to look at Freddy Fazbear. So in the four games, Freddy has always been the center of attention, whether it's in the games or in the eyes of the children. In the first game, or as a version of Freddy, you know, in the first game you have the original Freddy Fazbear, or not the original Freddy Fazbear. In 2, you have Toy Freddy. In 3, who leads you in the mini games after every night? Not Shadow Bunny, Shadow Freddy. Plus, Freddy is the first to act in that situation. And 4, it's Fredbear, who I count as a relative of Freddy. So, with that, if we assume that Fazbear Entertainment loves Freddy Fazbear, why would they reduce him to a side character? Why would he not be the center of attention? Why would Baby be the center of attention? Because it was bought off. Okay, so now for my second point. The machinery. So, in Fazbear Entertainment's prime, which was quite in the past, what types of things did we see in the way of mechanics? We saw animatronics and we saw spring-lock suits. Animatronics having endoskeletons and being able to walk around on their own, while the spring-locks being able to do their own thing as well as get inside, though they do fail. The latest model we see of the Fazbear Entertainment line, thus far, has been Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy from the first game. Because the only thing after that in the timeline is FNAF 3, which has only Springtrap, which the model came before FNAF 1. So, with all that in mind, can you really expect Fazbear Entertainment to build the new mechanized things that look almost steampunk-esque? Not only that, but looking at the technology, this is probably far in the future, because wouldn't Fazbear Entertainment want to upgrade as fast as they could if this new technology was out and it was really popular? Now, my first 2 points, okay, they can be argued, like maybe Freddy was really badly hurting the company, so they reduced him to a side character because of all the bad things happening around him. And maybe they couldn't upgrade in the earlier games because they were bankrupt. Well, I have definitive proof. Definitive proof? Well, not definitive, but you know, I have big proof that will bridge this gap. The paperclipping at the end of FNAF 3. What do we see with it? The place has been burnt down, and some of the things that they could find will be auctioned off. So, let me tell you now how I think this would have gone. The flames burned down most of the animatronic building instructions, you know, basically the molds and stuff. However, 3 still remained. The one for Freddy, the one for the original Mangle before it became Mangle, and the one for Balloon Boy. The people that bought the rights after looked at these, knew they had an upcoming project, and bought them. They then modified them and made them, and they knew Bonnie was a fan favourite, so they managed to make him through design over a puppet. Also, is it just me, or does the Bonnie puppet look so strangely like a bit like Bonnie from FNAF World? Or one of the Bonnie plushies? As for Balloon Boy, why did they pick Balloon Boy? Well, you know that when it flickers and we see an animatronic we haven't seen yet, that has stripes, looks pretty similar to Balloon Boy, and is instead a monkey, probably a magician? That's what they use Balloon Boy's print for. And thus, they bought the rights off to use the characters, and FNAF Sister Location is born. And the only reason I think it's FNAF Sister Location is an excuse to use the original characters, though I am connecting it. So, what do you guys think of my theory? Do you think it's great, or do you think it's absolutely not that? Let me know in the comments below. I've been HP Star Hunter, you guys have been beautiful, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye!